The 76ers have some very interesting decisions to make this offseason. They're going to have to get creative because a lot of the players available in free agency they may not like. And one player may become available very soon. But either way, whether he does or does not, the Sixers need to do whatever it takes to get this guy on the roster. And we'll talk about it all, but welcome in to Philly Take with RB. I'm RB, and I give you the Sixers news and coverage every single day of the offseason. So do me a favor, if you enjoy this content, take a second, hit that thumbs up, and subscribe to the show. This is our first free agency video, I guess, of the entire offseason. A lot will come because, look, man, the Sixers have to fill an entire roster around Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. And like I said, the Sixers are going to have to find some hidden gems out there, and I think this guy fits the timeline perfectly. And our focus today is on Luke Kennard. That is right. The Sixers need to do what it takes to get Luke Kennard. We'll talk about how that could happen, but a couple quick bullet points to keep in mind. He has a club option incoming, $14.7 million that could get declined by the Memphis Grizzlies or picked up and traded. And he is a 43.9% career three-point shooter who shot 45% from three this past season on 6.1 attempts. He would be an absolute perfect fit around Joel Embiid. So first off, I want to take a look at the Sixers cap situation. I've gotten a lot of comments and questions about this recently. This is the Sixers' current active cap. Joel Embiid, Paul Reed, Jeff Doughton, and Ricky Council IV. Jeff Doughton is a club option. He likely will be declined in my opinion, but maybe they keep him around. Paul Reed could be waived on a non-guarantee after the Sixers failed to make it past the first round. And Tyrese Maxey, as you may notice, is not here because he is currently on a cap hold, and he is going to get a max contract this offseason for sure. But as you can see, his cap hit is $13 million. So the Sixers have the flexibility like no other time, maybe ever, to go out here and build a contender. And that's why I'm saying they need to do it now. Absolutely. There is no excuse. If we scroll down a little bit, just so you can keep these figures in your mind, the 76ers right now have a projected cap space of $55.5 million, and their maximum possible cap space is $72.7. So a lot of what we have heard recently has them maybe in the $60 to $65 million range. I mean, that is everything right there. You have all the ammunition you need to go out and get players, but again, you may not be able to sign everybody. There's not a strong free agent class this year. It's not a strong draft class. So a lot of teams will be looking to move on from salaries given the new CBA. So you're going to have to make some trades. And when it comes to Luke Kennard, like I said, his club option this next year is $14.7 million. And where I look at it with Luke Kennard is, one, do the Grizzlies view him as part of the future? I don't really know because I don't follow the Grizzlies. But as I'm doing research and looking into some of what their reporters are saying, it seems like it's a 50-50. Like they could re-sign him and, give him an extension, but that's a big decision, right? They have to get some of their players back from injury that really just derailed their season. I mean, let's call it what it is. They were awful. They, essentially just plummeted early in the season and they had no chance of coming back. And they're going to have to make some big time moves to stay up in the mix in the Western Conference, which continues to get better. So do they view Luke Kennard as a long-term piece? He's 27, going to be 28 next month. He's a former 12th overall pick out of Duke. And, he is just a perfect spot-up shooter. He's a volume shooter. He has a little bit of playmaking and facilitation. Not the best, but, he definitely has more than your typical spot-up shooter. And he's confident. I like his energy. I like his game. Not the best defender, but he gives it his 100% effort. And I like how he can pretty much fit in any single offense. But when it comes to a Embiid-centric offense like the 76ers or an offense that we'll say needs more and more shooting, Luke Kennard is a gem. And I really think he would fit well here in Philadelphia. And I think from his camp side, they're probably saying, well, look at his numbers. Look at what he's done even on a bad Memphis team last year. And, he's been there for a year and a half, but look at his career, right? Even with the Clippers, who he was with for about 3 or 4 years, he shot pretty well. There were inconsistent stretches where he got benched, etc. And even before that, he was with the Detroit Pistons, who really did not have much of a chance of contending at all. So he needs to go to a place where he's going to be able to continue his career and get paid. And I think Philadelphia could be that place if they're willing to give him an extension and the Grizzlies are not. Now, the next question is, do the Grizzlies sign him or pick up his option and then trade him? Right? Because then the Sixers would have to give up either a draft pick, maybe throw in Paul Reed in there, and then, try to get Luke Kennard via trade. I mean, that would be a little bit tougher, but maybe the Grizzlies do view him as potentially having some value. So let's talk about Luke Kennard, though, in terms of his numbers, because, again, he's just a very solid player. And the one knock I say Luke Kennard carries with him is his durability, right? You look at his games the last couple years, he hasn't played a full season, and he has been banged up. That is the one concern. It is a concern with a lot of the players on this team, and it's always going to be a concern. But do you not go out and get a lethal shooter because you're scared of him getting injured, or do you bring him in and hope that he can contribute and stay healthy? You look at this past season with Memphis, he played 39 games, started 22 of them, 25.6 minutes per game. But look at these numbers, man. 45% from three on 6.1 attempts. Like I said, he's a high-volume shooter. And he does have a lot more shot creation than your typical, three-point shooter, a lot more than a guy like Buddy Hield, which is why I would take Luke Kennard over a Buddy Hield. You saw how inconsistent Buddy Hield was, especially down the stretch when the Sixers needed him big time. And it wasn't until Game 6 when he really erupted. But look at Luke Kennard. Look at the sample size. Every year, the year before, he shot 54% after he got traded to the Grizzlies. 44.7 the year before with LA. 44.9, 44.6. This guy is an absolute sniper. Last season, averaged 11 points per game on a bad Grizzlies team. His career is 43.9% from deep. I love what this guy brings. He would be great on dribble handoffs around Joel Embiid. He would fit like a glove. Seamless fit, Luke Kennard. And if I'm the 76ers, I try to either trade for this guy, or if the Grizzlies decline his club option, I try to pick him up in free agency. Maybe give him a 2-3 year extension and see what he can do. Because like I said, man, Luke Kennard is a very, very good shooter. That's why he was drafted. He was the best shooter in that class out of Duke. And I still think he has a lot more left to give. He's not too old. When we look at the trade that happened that sent him to the Memphis Grizzlies, it's not like they gave up the world to get this guy. The Grizzlies acquired Luke Kennard. This was a year and a half ago. And a second-round draft pick from the Clippers in a 3-team trade. All they had to give up was Danny Green, who didn't even play for the team, and 3 second-round picks to the Clippers. The Clippers traded John Wall and protected draft considerations, and then Eric Gordon was sent to LA. So, look, man, at the end of the day, Luke Kennard, I think, is one of those gems out there this offseason that, lies in the balance. It all depends on what Memphis does, but either way, I think it's a player that the Sixers should be interested in. They thought they were going to get a lot of what Luke Kennard brings with Buddy Hield, and it just never materialized. So I would view Luke Kennard as being a nice, solid bench piece for this team, a knockdown shooter who could play a little bit with the starters, stagger as well, and maybe bring a little bit of shot creation and playmaking off the bench. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you do enjoy these free agency videos, let me know down below, and we'll pop out some more of them very soon. That being said, you all have a great rest of your evening, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.